everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Evil Dead, 2013 film, which is the last to date film in the Evil Dead franchise. There is a show, which I won't be doing a full-fledged review of, but I will say I feel like it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's some pretty entertaining spots. It's great seeing Ash Williams back, of course, but I feel like it's also kind of dragged out to a degree and get a little bit too much in minutia. But overall, I enjoy it for what it is. But this is the last actual movie in the franchise to date, and it is a remake or reboot or whatever you want to call it. I guess reboot because it's not telling the same story, but a similar one. And basically, this movie does not focus on Ash Williams or any of the friends or people that you were introduced to in the 3 previous films. Instead, it introduces an entirely new cast, led by a character by the name of Mia Wallace, who you find out very quickly is a drug addict who has gone to a cabin with a group of friends, similar kind of cabin to the ones in the original films, and is there to try to dry out and get away from society so she can't kind of get away and go and find drug users, and she's kind of stuck there with her friends. And while there, one of her friends finds the Necronomicon and reads from it, and all hell breaks loose, quite literally. One of the major strong points of this film, I think, is its opening sequence. It takes place in the cabin, has all new characters. You're not 100% sure where in the timeline of the films this takes place, but it definitely is in the past to some regard. And you get introduced to this girl who's trying to find her way away from the cabin and gets snatched, and then you find that there's a bunch of people that are around her once the bag kind of comes off her head, and she's been tied to a post where they intend to burn her, and it just kind of goes from there. It's just such a fantastic intro to the film. Really gets you in the world. It's very scary and off-putting. At first, you're putting yourself in the perspective of the girl, and then one of the captors is one that you start relating to more. And it's just very, very expertly done. So that I thought was just a fantastic intro into the world of the film. And then also, I thought one of the strengths of this movie is the fact that it is definitely not afraid to pull any punches and really go for the gore. I mean, this movie shows some truly gruesome things. And I will say, if you are a big fan of the original trilogy and you liked that kind of comedic edge or the kind of low budget feel, so that there are definitely gruesome characters, but there's not really much of a feeling of realism to any of the gore, this may not be the film for you, I should say, because although this film definitely has a lot of references to the original franchise, they do, like, there's moments like where they're referencing what happens to the girl in the original films, where she's out in the woods and gets kind of molested by trees. That happens in this kind of. There obviously is the Necronomicon and the cabin and all that kind of stuff, and just the idea of this evil being unleashed and taking over the friends one by one. It plays on a lot of the similar ideas, but just tonally speaking, is extremely different to almost shocking degree. It's surprising that they went the route that they did, considering how beloved the original franchise is. But in my opinion, it works. But I don't like it as much as I like the original films, because the original films are so beloved because they are unique entities in and of themselves, and I feel like they kind of tore some of that away when making this movie. Now, as far as the gore goes in this movie, there are moments that are just like, oof. I remember watching the trailer for this movie, and there's a scene where you see a character where she's kind of going towards one of her friends, and she's already been injected with the evil and wants to destroy her friend, and the friend has a knife, and she takes the knife from her, and she takes it her tongue and goes along the tongue, and her tongue gets split, and it's just so... Ugh. Oh man, it's just hard. It's hard to watch. And in the original film, of course, you have Ash cutting off his hand, and a similar scene happens here. But instead of it being like kind of over the top, it's much more gruesome. The character is just being splattered with blood and viscera and gore. And it's just, whew. I mean, this movie, there's no doubt about it. If you cannot handle that kind of content, stay away. It is very different than the original films. But also, I feel like in some ways, you could definitely tell that there's a lot of respect for the original films. So, I found it to be a mixed bag, a very interesting entry into the franchise. One that I'm kind of surprised never really went anywhere. But, you never know what will happen in the future. I mean, Evil Dead 2 came out years and years later. Army of Darkness came out, so you never know. So those are my thoughts on Evil Dead, the 2013 version. Let me know in the comments below what you think, where you put it in the echelon of the franchise, what have you. Please hit that like button, hit that share button. It'll make it much more likely that other people will come and check out this review, which would absolutely mean the world to me. And please, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you can find out when I put out a new video and you can come and join the conversation. Other than that, have yourself a good day.